everyone, and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
It
Little
is
sleepy.
late here on the East Coast. It is late, and we stayed up for, 4+ hours just
Yeah.
waiting for the Panthers to do something, and they finally did something, Jerry. They traded up with the Patriots, and they got their guy.
And I love it. This is who I wanted in the second round if we had a second round pick. I mean,
Matt Corral,
obviously,
by the way.
Matt
Corral, by
Corral.
the way.
Now, Malik Willis, if he was there, I'd have preferred Malik Willis. But that being said, Matt Corral was my third on my big board for quarterbacks. He's very accurate. He has a good, strong arm. He's athletic. He had some injury concerns. And he needs to work on his just drop back passes. He's worked primarily in an RPO system at Ole Miss.
Yeah. There's some maturity issues with him as well. They were talking on the broadcast about he had some alcohol problems, just some typical college kid stuff, probably. Honestly, I don't know much more than that. So, comment down if you think there's anything else that we should be worried about as Panthers fans. But honestly, Matt Corral was the number one guy on a lot of people's draft boards. In terms of quarterbacks. Most people had like a late first round grade on him. Almost everyone else had early second round grade on him. Nobody, I don't think, had late third round grades on him. I mean, just in general, I'm sure most of you watching or listening have, been keeping up with the draft. There was only one quarterback taken in like the first 70 something picks.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett went 20, and then Malik Willis didn't go until, was it like 74 or something?
I don't remember. I just know I was like,
or I'm sorry, it was Ritter. Yeah, Ritter went to the Falcons, and then Willis went later to Tennessee, and then we got Matt Corral. So, yeah, I mean, Fitterer said yesterday that they were considering moving up, that there was a bunch of news this evening about the Panthers potentially closing in on a deal for Baker Mayfield. Nobody was really excited about that.
I wasn't.
No. So this is good. I mean, Matt Corral, honestly, we talked about this so many times, but any of these guys could turn out to be the best quarterback from this class. And I think Matt Corral has just as good, if not a better chance than any of the other ones to be that guy. He's got all the tools.
Good, strong arm, very accurate, 6'2", 212, very athletic, able to run the ball. I mean, he's not going to be able to, Malik Willis run it or Lamar Jackson. He's going to be able to
I think he's more Russell Wilson, right?
Yes.
Just like
I think that's who I compared him to in our draft, where he could get going, but you need to get him down because he does not need to take those extra hits, as he has been injured before, and you don't want to injure him again.
I wouldn't expect him. He's not going to be a Cam Newton type. He's not going to run for 700-800 yards a year and 10 to 15 touchdowns. That's not what he uses his running ability for. I mean, man, I'm excited about this, honestly. It's a third round, like a late third round pick. So if he doesn't start immediately, no big deal.
No.
Right. I would hope that he is ready to start by next season, but this doesn't mean that we're out of the Sam Darnold doghouse yet. In fact, we still could trade for Baker Mayfield. Honestly, we could still give up a 4th or 5th round pick for Baker Mayfield just for this coming year.
And let Matt Corral.
If they just don't. Yeah, I mean, if they just don't want to see Sam Darnold at all, then I would not be surprised if that happened. But I'd feel a lot better about that now than if Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold were the only options on the team, right?
Absolutely, because then after that, you have to either sign one of them or go draft another quarterback. At least if you're planning on Matt Corral. And not only that, I feel like Matt Corral does resemble Baker Mayfield a lot in the simple fact that he's a very athletic kind of. He's not running the ball. He's, and he's accurate. So, really like this pickup.
I mean, if you honestly, again, late third round picks, so the expectations are different than, say, a Baker Mayfield, who's the number one pick, right? The expectations are completely different for this guy. We hope that he becomes the guy, but the patience that we can have now, I mean, it's nice, right? And it's good for him, good for Matt Corral, that he's not going to be expected to come in and immediately be the franchise savior, day one.
With that being said, do you think he could come in and compete right away for the starting job? We have to ask that question.
I hope
right,
so.
at this point.
I mean, again, he talent wise, yeah, I think he'll compete. I wouldn't expect him to win the job immediately.
Yeah.
Like even over Darnold, I wouldn't expect him to win the job right out the gate. I think he's going to make some splash plays. He's going to be exciting to watch. Preseason is going to be a ton of fun this year, watching him go out there and learn how to play. But I mean, a lot of the stuff in Ole Miss, that Lane Kiffin, right? Mm-hmm. His offense is a lot of RPOs. It's a lot of play action. So he's going to have to learn some different things in the NFL. He's going to have to learn how to progress through his reads a little better. He's got a very fast release. That's going to help him. Now that we've beefed up the line, I mean, gosh, he's going to have all the opportunity. We've got a really good offense around him now. Yeah. So would it shock me if he's the starter week one? I guess not, but I don't expect it.
I don't either. The Panthers gave up, you said, a 4th round and next year's 3rd, which is not
correct.
Giving up everything. I'm fine giving up a 3rd round pick for a quarterback who I viewed as a great 2nd round pick or late 1st round pick for the Panthers. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, and like you said, no expectations of him coming in, taking the reins, and right away. Now, does Ben McAdoo hope so? Probably. I'm hoping this is Ben McAdoo's choice quarterback because he seems to have a good reputation with picking quarterbacks.
Yeah, they mentioned that the Panthers thought Matt Corral had the best tape of any of the quarterbacks in this draft, including Kenny Pickett, who went 60-something picks ahead of him, or 70-something picks ahead of him, I guess. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, Matt Rule, Ben McAdoo, Fitterer, everyone really liked Matt Corral. I don't think any of them thought that they could get him at pick 94.
Yeah. And we are back from that little technical difficulty. Sorry about that.
That's okay. It is now 3:30 in the morning. That took 4 hours for Jerry to fix. I'm just kidding. No, what I was saying was, I guess I'm a little surprised maybe that the Panthers didn't trade up a little earlier in the 3rd round to grab a Ritter or a Willis. But maybe it's just as simple as Matt Corral was their guy, was their number one guy on their board.
Not only that, they may have, again, they've reiterated that they didn't want to give up a lot of draft picks. And maybe this is one of the first times that they were able to jump up and only give up a 3rd. Other teams may have been wanting 2nds to next year, and that's not good. I mean, we don't want that.
I didn't think it was likely that they were going to trade into the 2nd round, just because typically you have to go up a 1st, right, the following season.
Yeah.
Or you give up a 2nd and a 3rd and whatever, and we didn't have that. We didn't have that option, so I did not think they were going to trade into the 2nd. But once the QBs kept falling, honestly, this draft has fallen the Panthers' way so far.
Absolutely,
they got their franchise tackle, and now they've got what they hope to be their franchise quarterback, and they didn't have to give up much to get him. Again, on draft night, Fitterer is king. Things just work out.
Yeah, so far this draft has really fallen in the Panthers' way, especially, again, for not having a 2nd and 3rd round pick. We've got the stud left tackle, the best left tackle in the draft, on their big board. They got the quarterback, who I really liked, was 3rd on my quarterback rankings, and they claim top of theirs, which you know how that
goes. They said he had the best tape. Now, I don't know if that means he was the number one guy on their board. There could be other intangibles, of course, but they obviously didn't feel the um, pressure to trade up
Mm-mm.
to get Willis.
No.
You know, which I think that's what most fans wanted was Willis. Again, probably the highest ceiling of any QB in the draft, but yeah, I mean, it's Chris Sims from NBC Sports. He just tweeted out that Matt Corral was his number one QB in the draft. Insane athlete, quick feet, quickest release I've seen from a prospect in years. Great arm strength with great accuracy. Needs to put it all together, but he has all the tools. Round one worthy for me, steal for the Panthers. So I think that kind of sums it up.
Yeah, and I love the quick
saying.
release because that helps out so much. Aaron Rodgers has a quick release. Not saying he's Aaron Rodgers, but that helps out immensely with just getting the ball out quickly, especially when the O-line struggles a little bit, which we're hoping with all the revamping in the offseason, it won't have as many problems as it has in the past, but you want them to be able to do that.
On paper, looks great.
Yeah.
You know?
Any final thoughts on him before we sign off?
I don't guess so. Other than just I'm really thrilled with how this draft has gone so far. Would I have preferred Willis? Yeah, but Matt Corral at 94 is a pretty good consolation prize.
Yeah, I agree 100%. When I heard that they traded up, I was about to go to bed, to be honest with you, and you blew me up saying that we just traded up, and I already knew Willis was gone, Ritter was gone. I was like, I hope we're grabbing Matt Corral. That was my first thought.
To be at that point. It had to be like there was. What other reason would they have traded up? It had to be that.
Yeah. So great, awesome. We want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. And we will be back probably tomorrow evening because, again, I won't be here during the day at the zoo, so we'll record our recap of the day 4. 3.
Day 3.
It
feels like day 4.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll be back tomorrow evening, as Jerry said. And until then, everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding.